Hello everybody, Darren here, and welcome to a brand new mini-series in Manor Lords. Now, Manor Lords is a survival city builder with RTS elements that's available to play in demo form during the Steam Next Fest promotional period. For this demo, just the city building portion of the game is available, and it's all very much work in progress. Now, as always with Steam Next Fest games, you can wishlist it to help out the developers, and I'll provide links in the description so you can find all the relevant information you need to see how to give feedback, report bugs, and get more involved with the development of the game and just track its progress. Now, the demo doesn't have any saving, so it's just one continuous run. So because of that, I plan to have daily videos released for this as a mini-series, as I've had to just record them all in bulk. Now, if you want to get them even quicker than being daily, they're also going to be available to all my channel members instantly until they eventually release then, for everyone each day. I'm doing this because I just don't want to flood 5 or 6 or more hour-long videos all out at once. As well as that, I've played just a little bit of the game already, courtesy of the publisher Hooded Horse, and the developer as well, Slavic Magic. So I'll be able to guide you through the initial steps, as there's not that much of a tutorial, and some of the stuff can get a bit confusing the first time round. So I've kind of done that legwork for you. Should be smooth sailing from here on out. If you like this video and the series and want to see more Manor Lords in the future, please do consider dropping a like, a subscription, and sharing the video with your buddies. Now, also super quick, I'm just getting over a minor cold, so apologies if I sound a little bit off. Let's begin. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Manor Lords. Here we have our band of 5 plucky adventurers who've decided that this spot is as good as any to build themselves a new life, one that can last for generations to come. And we've got a new message. Let's check it out. Establishing a foothold. There is a fire at the heart of every settlement, a bastion of safety, warmth, and light against the darkness of the world. On this cold spring morning, your men blow on their fingertips, their breath clouding in the air. But there is plenty of work to warm them. As the toil begins, you can almost imagine you hear the ring of anvils, the tolling of bells, the cries of the marketplace, possibilities. In the distance, fog lingers in the hollows of the land, and the world is quiet, watchful, waiting for you to choose which of those to make real. As we establish our foothold, we must build a granary, a logging camp, a forager hut, a storehouse, all within the first year. Should be plenty of time. Let's begin. Now, before I get into the UI of the game and explaining mechanics, I just want to get started, get building, but just very quickly, let's take in the scenery briefly. A beautiful looking game, possibly one of the best looking city builders ever, especially this type of city builder, this kind of job-based survival city builder with these RTS elements. I'll have plenty of moments to zoom in as we watch the construction of different things as well. Alright, so to get started, let's survey the land and see what's kind of immediately around us. So we have wild animals. We've got some berries in the forests over there. We have an iron deposit. Looks like we're on the sort of an edge of a cliff as it goes down from this depression into the lower flatlands where we've got a river and things like that. As we zoom out further, we can see that this is a region in and of itself. And if we pull back even further, we're in Reichenfurt. The region view shows you which regions are under whose control. You can claim other regions when you gain enough influence. Claims can be refuted, or if a war is declared, blocked by the presence of an enemy army. Conquest, unfortunately, is locked in the demo, so we're not going to see any war aspects, but we might be able to expand to another region. Maybe. We'll see if we get the time to do it. Okay, so got it. So yeah, before I go through the UI and stuff like that, let's just get building and get started. So one of the first things we need, the basis of our economy, is just going to be the logging camp. We need so much wood for all of the things that we want to build. And we're going to really have to build the town kind of up in this area, I think, because this is a pretty steep incline. It might be kind of hard to see, but it's going to be difficult to build houses on such an incline. So it's a bit of a rough region, but we'll make do. So let's start with a logging camp right here. I'll just turn it to look a little bit nicer right about there. Boom. So they're going to get started with work on that. Unassigned peasants automatically work on construction. They're going to be going over to the ox. The ox is going to go to take up the timber, bring it right over, and then they're going to kind of work with one log and break it down and build a house from it. Got it. And we've got plenty of those. So we've got 6 currently in just the open storage. Then we've got open storage for the, I guess, little homeless tents. That's going to be dismantled when we build some houses. We then have what looks to be bread and some firewood on the ground. Yep, bread, firewood, and 1 tool. Talk about tools a bit later. And then our hitching post for the ox, who goes back and forth, and we can see him just dragging that log over there. getting it in position to get cracking. Alright, so with the logging camp starting, we can have a look at the job system and stuff. So just really quickly, we have a total population of 5. So we have 5 peasant families currently unassigned. And of those families, there's 1 in each family. So this trips a few people up, the kind of population system. But basically, a family can have, I think, between 4 and 5 people or something like that in it. Sorry, 1 to 5 people. And then kids and things like that as well. The idea would be that you're assigning a family to a profession. And then over the generations, you know, they're the smiths, you know, they're the blacksmiths, and they're always the smiths. Now, obviously, you can unassign them and get them to do other things. That's always fine. But it's sort of a way of saying, like, when people die off of old age, their kids will take the role and that kind of thing. You don't really have to really think about it too much. All that's really important is to know how many unassigned families you have and how many assigned ones you have. That's free, you know, people not doing anything, and that's people working a job. Right now, everyone's unassigned as they're just kind of building freely. And a really nice quality of life feature in this game is that, and that kind of popped up a second ago, is that you can actually say, I want 3 this guy's name, sorry, that just completely took me, can't really read that one out. Don't know if you saw it there. I'll get demonetized if I read it out. It's just totally random to see that like appear on my screen. I don't even know what I was saying. Oh yeah, the quality of life feature that's really good is the fact that, I'll just speed up time just a little bit here, ×2, is that I could say assign 3 families to be, you know, lumberjacks, and then you can toggle this little button that says if anyone's not doing anything, just put more people on this building. So you can kind of like make sure that idle workers or idle families are doing other things as well. Basically, we've got all hands on deck to get this one built first. So let's just slow time down. They're just about to get it done. We'll start queuing up the next thing. So we want a granary, a storehouse. So storehouse, that's going to be storing a lot of the materials, including things like logs and stuff. Generic goods and logs to shield from weather damage. So we'll put that somewhere nearby. Maybe just like here. We'll try to build things a little tilted to make things look a little bit more organic. Actually, you know what? I would do that. We'll do it in here. It's a little crevice in here as well. Perfect. Get to work. Alright, so that'll be the next one. You can actually see that the ox is going to be traveling over to the storehouse. So someone has to go guide the ox. Thomas is going to be the one to do it. The ox's name is Fritz. So we're going to bring Fritz over, and he's going to take the log over. Once the log's in position, then everyone else can get building on it. And we'll assign some people to start getting logs. We currently have 4 timber. We've got 20 firewood. You need a different building to actually get firewood. And then we've got 19 bread. So someone's after having a loaf already, because I saw 20 earlier. The other thing that's important then would be approval. So approval is going to help your population grow, but until we get this first task done, we're not really going to be focusing on that. So I'm going to keep time sped up. Keep it on at least ×2. We have our logging camp now. So we'll assign a worker. Let's assign 3, and we'll set the work area. Now, if you hold control and scroll, you can actually increase or decrease the size of the work area. So I'm going to work a little bit more to the left, so we don't kind of take out too many of those berry bushes. Alright, cool. Now we can see that these 3 families, aka just really at the moment 3 people, are going to be working on felling trees, then hopefully just bringing it back to the to the stockpile there, the storehouse, and that should make for easy access in future. So the next one then, forager hut. So perfect, we can have this all sort of in the same area because the berries are right over there. And there's further berries out, still in my region over there as well. So let's get the gathering section. We'll go to forager hut. Can be relocated as well, which is good. And yeah, I don't know, maybe like somewhere here. It's almost in between the two. They'll obviously have to walk quite a bit, but I don't think it's too bad. Let's just see how it goes. Should be fine. Should look nice next to the trees, I think. And it can be relocated. If we make any grave mistakes, we can fix it. So, you may notice on the right side of my screen, we have overlays that we can toggle. You can only see them when you're in the building construction mode. So we've got the underground water. Super important for where you decide to place your houses. You need to be near a well. So this is kind of letting you know where you can place your wells, effectively. We then have emmer fertility, flax, barley, rye, and the smell, of which I can do none of because my nose is completely blocked. Apologies for that as well if I sound a little nasally. But we got pretty flat terrain over here, although that's the iron deposit. There's animals over there, so that'll be another thing. We'll start getting a hunter's camp up soon enough too. So we're just waiting for people to build. I am putting a lot of the people straight on that logging camp, so that's taking up a lot of the workforce. It'll slow down building a bit, but I want to gather as much timber as we can because we're going to need so much for all the houses that we need to build. We've got 5 homeless. We've got some exposed food. So we've got exposed food and exposed supplies and things like that because they haven't been moved to the storehouse yet, because we need to assign someone to the storehouse who will go over and grab them. Now, if no one's doing anything, they tend to move things to the correct places themselves. This definitely, obviously, like, speeds that up, makes it more efficient. It's like a logistician's job. It's like, my job is to make sure everything is where it should be. And the same goes for a granary. So that'll be the next thing we built. We've got the berry hut here. So we need a granary to store food, right? So we could just have a quick look. Storage. Granary stores up to 500 food. Helps supply the food stalls faster, which we'll get to a bit later. So we're going to be hunting. Food's going to be coming in over there. So we'll build it between where we have the berry building and the hunter cabin. It's probably going to be somewhere over there. So just somewhere like here, we'll build it. And maybe there'll be farms out this way too. Now, you may notice that when you put a building down on top of trees, it just deletes the trees. It's the same with roads. We'll put some roads down now in a moment. Obviously, most trees need to be felled with a logging camp, but if you're just building on top of them, then they will just be instantly removed. I don't know if that's just for the demo, or it hasn't been worked in yet. There's a lot of things like that in the game where it's like, I imagine, with their focus on kind of realism and slow pace of things, that kind of thing is something that's going to be done. For instance, you could destroy buildings instantly, and I know the developer has said they will be dismantled slowly over time. That's just not in yet. They do seem like it's still got quite a bit of development to go. But a pretty solid foundation. I've been really happy with what I've played so far. And the game, like I said, just looks absolutely immaculate. We'll do a bit more zooming in once we get a few more buildings up and we can really soak things in. Alright, so that is under construction. It's just being built at the moment by our boy Thomas. And we're gathering plenty of wood. We've got 6 timber now. Awesome. Good stuff. We can rename this town, actually. I'm just going to rename it really quickly to Swords. It's a classic name I use on my city building cities and on my channel. Now, there's development, policy, production, all these different things here. Apparently, we've seen footage of this on the developer's Twitter. Slavic Magic, aka Manor Lords, is on Twitter. And he's posted that they've been reworking this, and there's going to be like tech trees and stuff. So there is lots to the game that's just not in this particular demo just yet that have been kind of worked on. But I think he's just kind of decided, I'm only going to allow access to things that are working well, which is probably a good idea, to be honest. Leave people wanting more, I suppose. Hopefully people don't come away thinking it's overly simplistic or something, because there's clearly all these tabs and things that you could do, all these different things. You just can't quite access it yet. Alright, so the foraging hut is almost done. It's got a little bit of moss already on the thatch. You think Thomas would get busy clearing that off, but it kind of gives to the aesthetic. I think he loves it. Let's go with a road now. Let's get some roads placed down. Some workers can use hand carts to transport goods more effectively or efficiently. Up to 10 items at once. Can you believe it? To enable hand cart transportation, road points from both buildings have to be connected by the road network. Alright, no big deal. So a lot of this stuff is going to be disappeared once we actually get several buildings up and running. The homeless tents will go away when we build houses, that kind of thing. So we'll just bring this down this way, connect these up that way. Try to keep the curve relatively smooth. Now, what you can do is you can hold control and scroll to kind of adjust the curve. It creates more points on the curve if you want to make it smoother or not. So we'll leave it like right around there. And there we go, we got our first little road. Because it was just raining, we got little puddles on it already. Again, quite a damn good looker of a game. Can't really get over that, to be honest. It just looks so good. Alright, that log is in position. So that's the storehouse. So we can just see that they're just moving logs literally from the logging camp right over to here. So that's effectively taking up that guy's job. He's just transporting stuff. He's guiding the ox, even though he's not assigned to the ox or anything. That was one thing that tripped me up early on. It's like, that's his priority, really. I suppose if you completely manually assign them to do different things, they would, but he's going to do that. So we'll go on foraging. We'll set a work area out towards those berries. 136 berries. Just do that. Next one's going to go up is the granary, so we can attach the road to where the granary is going to be as well. Nice, quite a nice curved road actually out this way. It's pretty cool. I know there's a little bend in it there, but that's alright. Nice, I'm loving it. It looks good. Super organic. People who know me from my other city building games, they know I like to try and make things look realistic. This game makes that a lot easier just right off the bat. We've got one log sitting here. I'm waiting for that to be removed so we can just get rid of this and we can build here. The hitching post can actually just be moved. I'm just going to move it, tuck it in somewhere here. That's just for the ox. I hope they add some decorations and ornaments and stuff in the future as well, like signposts, that kind of thing. Alright, it must be said this early on that the game is pretty slow paced. I'll be trying to speed it up like I am now where I can, but it's actually really slow paced. It's going to take till like year 2 or 3 before we get like most of the buildings in the demo, I think, up and running. And I didn't build everything anyway. Like I said, I'm not sure if you can go to other regions, but I'll try to if I can. Alright, so let's assess the situation. Our approval is 42%. That helps with population growth. A lot of people are homeless, but we don't need to do that. We still need to build the granary, so we're just waiting on that to be done. That's going to help with finishing off establishing a foothold. We're in April, so if we look through our seasons, spring, which is March to May, frequent raining, berry deposits regrow, plowing for quick summer harvest is possible. Summer, June to August, crop harvests start in the late summer. Autumn, September to November, end of harvests, plowing and sowing crops. Recommended for maximum yield next summer, berries start disappearing. And then winter, December to February. Berry deposits vanish. Firewood is required for survival. Sheep shearing is forbidden. And there is a chance, excuse me again, of getting ill. Tell me about it. I don't think I'd gotten ill. I said it in one of my other videos in about 4 years. And then this year I've gotten sick like 3 or 4 times in the space of 6 months. So it's been great. But at least this last one hasn't been too bad. I actually feel totally fine. I just have an annoying blocked nose. Alright, anyway, so how many logs do we have now? 18! So we're looking good. So let's reduce this down a bit. Let's chill. Let's help them get a bit more building going on. And then once the granary is done, we can kind of queue up doing other things. So I guess we know that we're going to be building out here eventually. So let's get started. Gathering. Let's get a hunting camp. I'll put it somewhere like out here. I guess we'll tilt it this way. Push it a bit further. Right about there, and we can just tell them to go in. Now, it does say, I've never really dabbled with this, but it says, overlaps wild animal habitat. May cause migration. So, I guess you don't want to be building in there. But just on the edge of it, I think that should be a good enough distance where they're not going to be alarmed by what's happening. So, we'll start there. Make drop a point there. Put the other point here. Hold control. It's not going to do much for our curve, I don't think. Maybe a bit there. Okay, there we go. Alright, nice. I think it's looking pretty good. We're still on ×2 speed. We're gathering tons of timber. We're up to May now. Would be kind of nice if I could see, like, the day or something. I don't know if that's on my screen somewhere that I'm just missing it. I frequently miss things. We do see the days ticking down here in terms of the tasks that we have to do. And ×2 speed is actually ×4. And ×3 speed is ×16. So you can go much, much quicker if you want. So how's the granary progress? So he's out there building it, Thomas, doing his thing. Now, an awesome feature, which we'll make use of quite a bit in this game, is that you can actually just walk around. Now, I'm looking very dapper indeed. And I'm not wearing my sigil colors. It's very work in progress, this feature, apparently. But we could just go for a little walk and check things out. Pretty cool. Takes that Anno 1800, like, get down on the ground first person thing to a whole nother level. Kind of would like to be in first person if I could. Don't think I needed to see the guy. But, pretty cool that you can do that, I think. It's still like an amazing thing to think of doing. You can kind of run as well. The cloth physics as well. Holy crap. Looks good. So as we build up our town, we'll look around a bit more of, at it. Obviously, we'll take a walk through the streets and stuff. But I just want to show that off really quickly as well. So we can see things. It is pouring it down right now. So let's just zoom out of that. Speed time back up. ×16, please. And let's get moving. Very Age of Empires. How they're hopping around and building all this up bit by bit. Except it looks way better. Age of Empires 4, that is. Where they go kind of like into that hollow mode. Looks so cool the way you see them putting down individual bits. Now, something I thought was a bit strange is like the situation with stone. Like, we don't need stone. We can't even get it yet. There are stone deposits in the game. But a lot of the buildings at Tier 1 is all just wood. So, a little thing that miffs me a tiny bit. It's just that, it seems like you could have had us gathering stone at the beginning here as well. But maybe it's just not done yet, and they'll change those types of things. So, quest completed. Easy. Establishing a foothold. Done. Let's check our new message. The humble beginnings. Your supplies are dry and secure, and the first stage of work is done. The stories your people tell around the fire are of the many dangers in the world, from beasts to blights. Strange tales about foxes who go on pilgrimage, or small creatures who spin gold from sunset to sunrise. They tell these stories to put common names to their fears. Soon, they'll teach these stories to their own children. It's time to bring wives and children to the settlement, now that they can take shelter in proper homes. For your lands to prosper and grow, you'll need not only workers, but families. Construct a well, and construct a burgage plot. Another year to do this. So, we can build a well, and start laying out our homes. Now, I'm not really too sure where we're going to go here, but I imagine this will just be a big residential area. But we should just check before we overlap any really important fertilities. Barley needs to be worse in there. Let's start with emmer, okay? Emmer, flax, barley, rye. I imagine most of the farms I'd like to have on this side because it's of the road, just because it's where the incline starts to get a bit sharp, and I don't think that really affects the farms too much. I mean, in real life it would, I suppose, with fall off from groundwater, but here it's not going to be too much of a problem, I don't think. I don't think it's even really a problem in real life. I think it's not a bad idea building on a hill, it's just awkward. Anyways, so we have our river vein going through here, so yeah, I guess we'll put a well maybe somewhere in the center, and then build some houses off of here. So let's get started with it. So we go to village life, we have the burgage plot. Some buildings have flexible borders. Place 4 points to designate an area. The cursor will snap to the roads and other plots to try and create an organic shape. You can leave more space for future extensions. So the extension upgrades are actually interesting. Basically means that some people might have their own vegetable patch or their own little things placed at the back of their houses. So if you want to build bigger plots, it doesn't cost anything extra, but it means that you can use them later on down the line if you have tools to get other things built, kind of get some production out of the plots themselves. So let's just start with a big old fat plot like here. What about that? Is that too big? I mean, it's super uniform, so I don't think we need to do that. Let's try to make things look a bit more natural. Just a little bit. Yeah, I don't mind starting out here. I think it's perfectly fine. Well, one other thing I'd like to think about, actually, is where's the church going to go? Church in the center of the town, maybe? Yeah, tavern nearby and a market nearby. I like to think those three things would be together. Okay. Alright, okay. Considering that, then, the housing situation could be slightly different. Now, you could do one plot at a time, which I actually like to do to create, like, not just complete uniform houses all the time. So I'll just get rid of this. Let's go a bit further. I'd like it to have the expansion slot, if it could. We'll just rotate them this way. So that's one there. Pretty big on its own, but that's fine. Just get that first plot started. I'm trying to build them, like, different or slightly, weird on purpose. So you could have two in there, really, but let's just see. Let's go two like that, maybe. That shakes things up a bit. Yeah, and then the road can come in. Okay, that's kind of cool. And then maybe this can come out here somewhat. And we'll snap it down to here. Join it up. That's an awful waste. So yeah, three like this I think would be good. So this guy gets a nice big plot. Maybe that's our house. And then we've got another 5 out this way. We only needed to build 5, but we definitely want to be building more than that. Just get as many down as possible. So we'll start with 6. And then we'll lay out the roads just after they get placed. Some of those trees might stay there as well, actually, which will look pretty good. So what we should see now, what we'll do is, because we have so much wood, just take these guys off timber. You can stay on the foraging, I guess. The granary doesn't need anyone in it. And this doesn't have anyone in it either. So we've got 4 unassigned families. They're all just going to come out and help build now. We want to build as quick as possible. And in this demo, at least, when you build a house, it basically gets moved into instantly, as long as approval is at 50%. And that approval will go up as soon as we remove the homelessness, which is what this will obviously do. So let's just speed up time again a little bit. The ox, once he puts that log in position, effectively the people will just come out and start building quite quickly, and we should get people moving in nice and fast. So while they're doing that, let's look at where our well position is going to go. So we've houses, so we're going to have a kind of a road. Let's do the road first, and then we can get the well down. You can curve the road right around the plots of the houses themselves, which I'm happy to do. Yep. There we go. Roads down instantly. This will start to clean up and look a bit nicer soon. So then a well. The well could go right there. It can't really go on the side. Can we rotate it? Actually can't. Can't put it in around the back of the houses. Kind of wish you could do that, but that's okay. I understand why. It only needs to have road access, by the way. I'm not sure the full range of it. It seems like people will go pretty far to get their water. Might put it out. I guess this is kind of town center. This will be roughly where the market is. So let's just slam it down there. Alright, the first house is going up. They got their little border. Their little fence. The other logs are being delivered for the next ones to be built, so that's perfect. Yeah, looking good. See, that so much of this game is about the details. I think it's good just to soak it in, even though time is obviously sped up, but it's nice to see the house kind of coming together. It is the kind of thing where I do wish you had to like gather some grass, get some stone, some clay, and that's how you build these houses. Just gathering wood and seeing a house like this getting put up is like, oh, it feels like we could be doing more. But hopefully it's just while the game's in its demo phase. It seems like the foundation is in place for the developer now to be able to add things such as, like things like clay and iron and stuff is in the game, stone and things like that. But it's like, oh, maybe if you started with 7 or 8 people, or just even give me some of those goods early on, just to give that little helping hand at the beginning, like it does with the bread and the wood. Just give me a little bit of that, get me my first houses down, then we can start kind of building out that way. I'd like that anyway, but it's not a huge thing, but it's just something I'd like. Alright, so we can see who's homeless by hovering over this. Good UI in the game as well, I think. Speaking of, up here, this is the number, this is a very important metric. Number of months before supplies run out. So we have food for 5 months and fuel for 17. So fuel is going to be obviously like firewood burned in the homes. We've just got 1 home now, so we weren't even using any of it until just now. Once all these other homes come up, that number will probably come down quite a bit. But then we can start gathering some of our own firewood. So let's get a firewood building up and running. So it's a woodcutter lodge. So it's similar to a logging camp. They actually do chop down trees for it. It's not like they just refine the logs that have already been chopped, like most other games do. But this one actually says no, you have a separate building of people cutting down trees just for firewood. Excuse me. So I'll build that. We can see that some of this terrain's already been chopped away. We'll start doing it out this way maybe. Kind of out here, because I want to clear some of this area for farmland in future anyway. So we'll start chopping. Get chopping. Alright, let's just speed up time just a little bit faster as well. So we've got 2 out of the 5 plots done, and the well still needs to be built. And that'll start giving them access. So we can actually have a look while we're waiting for these other ones to be built. The Burgage plot. So residential. Upgrade to level 2. Construct an extension. So this one is big enough to have an extension. Some of these other ones weren't. Yeah, I can't quite remember now, actually. I think 2 of them weren't, but these 3 were? I can't quite remember. Anyway, it doesn't really matter. Requirements. So these are just the labels. So a black requirement means requirement not met. The little yellow dot means it has been met. The green diamond means it's needed for a residential upgrade, and the red one requires it for a next level upgrade, but if you don't have it, it means that they'll actually be unhappy. It'll be bad approval. So our approval is falling dramatically right now because nobody's gotten their fuel or water just yet. So this house doesn't have anything yet. So approval is just falling. But it'll be okay. Everyone will get their stuff pretty soon. Once that well gets built, that'll be fine. And the firewood needs to be moved from the storehouse, or just the pile that was over here. Yeah, 20 over there. So that'll just get moved soon enough when we get stopping building. Or if we just assign someone here, it will get moved right now. So we'll assign someone there. Let them do their thing. Settlement level is increased. We've just reached small village status. So we have 5 out of 10 houses. So getting 10 will give us our next thing, and getting a church will allow us to become a medium village, which is needed for certain other buildings and stuff. So here we are, normal speed again. We're currently in July, so we've moved a few months already. 1 more house to go. So we've gotten the 5 built that we said we'd do, and then we just have the well, which needs to be built next. We're still gathering berries, and it's been stored in the pantry. So if we assign someone to the granary, they'll move some of the food in there. Granary's pretty far, I guess, from the town, but from the houses, but whatever. That's why you have a market. We'll put a market somewhere here. They'll grab this stuff from the granary and distribute it to the houses. I think they actually get people go to the market to get their stuff rather than the market distributing it. I know playing Farthest Frontier recently, it was the other way around. The market guy actually goes around the grocer and delivers stuff. You actually see them doing it. Look at this guy's hat. Hell yeah. Rocking the big beanie before it was in style. Gotta say, like, the models look great. Let's have a real zoom in on this guy. This is Thomas, I think it said. Was it? Actually, I think when you're on follow, you can't actually see their name. Nice. Alright, cool. Just that final house being built. We've 2 families not doing anything right now. We're not gathering any more wood. We've got 15 timber already in the bank. You could switch this to show surplus goods or total stored. The reason you don't want to show total stored is because some of it's already assigned to go somewhere, so it's not necessarily the most helpful thing seeing that, but it's nice that you can flip between it. Alright, food for 7 months now. So the granary, has it taken in anything yet? Not yet. So where's this person? Let's click the granary, click people, gathering. There he is. So let's see if he drops something off. I don't know if he's got something on him right now. Oh, he's going to take the handcart. Hell yeah. Let's go. It's a bit of a wonky looking wheel, but you'll be fine. Watch those branches, man. What's his name? I can't say that name. We'll just call him C. Or just Kun. Alright, off he goes to gather his stuff. So let's just speed. I'll keep it on ×4. It's a pretty good middle ground speed. And that well's still not done. The well's usually quite quick to be built. They're building it in order. Now I could increase or decrease the priority, but we'll do it what we set out to do. And then they'll become happier, and then more people will move into this new house. And these lads, these 5 adventurers, they're going to find wives, start having kids. It's going to be great. One thing that would be really super nice, again, with the game is like you click a person, you see something about them. I always like these games where you can rename people, which is nice, but having just even one trait, you know, some little history about them, family history maybe, that kind of stuff adds to the immersion, the role play. These are all very small supplemental things that I'm sure can be added quite easily, relatively speaking, later on. You can totally see from the developer standpoint, they're just getting the fundamentals, pathfinding, how building works, roads, the graphics, getting things running well, optimization. That's, you know, these things take an inordinate amount of time, so they've done the heavy lifting for sure. Gameplay stuff can be added on top quite nicely and easily, at least in my experience, my brief experience with game development. Alright, so with approval still really low, let's see how the granary's doing for storing food. 36 berries are stored up in the granary now. In the storehouse we have logs and some generic stuff. Firewood, cool. So, what have you got? You haven't still got anything yet. Still waiting on that well. It's just about to be done now. It's usually quite quick. There we go. Really beautiful music in the game also, which is quite nice. Alright, I'm just going to speed it up even further then, if we're just waiting, which we basically are. Alright, quest completed. The Humble Beginnings is done. Next up, a new message. Comforts and conveniences. As you walk the perimeter, surveying your village with pride, a woman walks past you. She's bent nearly double under a sack. You ask how long she's been walking, and she tells you it takes her half a day now to get all the food she needs for her family from the hunters and farmers that surround the village. If only there was a marketplace where your people could acquire food, clothing, and firewood. They would be happier and have more time for other work. So, level our houses up to level 2, 3 of them at least, and build a food stall, a firewood stall, and a clothing stall. This is where the game kind of opens up, gets a bit more interesting. So, we've got plenty of time to do this. We've got like 5 years to do it, so we can kind of prioritize doing some different things. So, let's see, what do we want to do next? So we got the well. That means that these houses now have access to water. We can see that yellow dot in there mean the requirement is met. They haven't really gotten their extra food yet. Clothing, that's because the people have to go physically get it, bring it back, all of that kind of stuff. So they want us to build a market so that someone else can just distribute it. But what I'm going to do first is just build way more houses, because we need all these jobs, like markets need to be run by people. So we're going to be desperate for more people, and we can get more people quite quickly if we just fill up these houses. Now the approval rating should shoot up soon enough when they start getting their water and start getting their stuff delivered to their houses. So we'll just speed up time just a little bit and start laying out a few more houses maybe out this way. So village life, houses. Just for a little bit of variety's sake, let's just change the shape a bit. Yeah, like that. Why not? We could do a couple more here, why not? Is that okay? Not super happy with that, so I'm just going to go to here. Go like this. Yeah. Rotate that around. Make sure we're just facing in this way. We'll build a road in there. So that's 4 new houses that are going to be built. We'll add a road coming off. We'll just build it backwards, actually. Start here. You don't have to join things with the road, but it just looks a bit nicer, obviously. And when they're actually joined to a house, the road is thicker. So that kind of looks good. And it'll look like they're kind of using the area a lot more. There we go. The logs are being brought over. We still don't have anyone else on the logging camp, but we have 7 timber in the storage in surplus. That's after we've already assigned all of this, so that's good. Now, so our population has started to increase. We now finally have 7 adults and 3 children, so it happens pretty quickly. I don't know. I guess I don't know if it's real time. Like, it'll take like 14, 15 years for these kids to become adults or not, but people do just join the settlement over time gradually as well when there is living space, when they have room to kind of move in. The approval is now at 37%. I think it kind of needs to be around 50 to sort of be able to bring people in quite quickly. So a little bit of homelessness for some of those extra families already. And then what else? No water access, but they should all have water access pretty soon. It'll just take a while. So water. Yep, they're all good. What about you? Yep, even they have water. So that's fine. Just takes a little time to update. Excuse me. Alrighty. So with that in mind, let's start thinking about then where the market's going to go. So this is the market area. This will be a central point to the town here, I guess. So maybe we could make this a bit of a sort of a market square. Yeah, we can latch it onto the well. Why not? Looks good, actually. Yeah, let's do it. It's going to be a little market area, and then what you end up doing is just putting down stalls within it. They're small. You can have quite a few of them. You don't need to just have 3. So we'll start with one just here. That's a food stall. We'll get a firewood stall. And a clothing stall. Alright. These trees are kind of in the way, actually, but whatever. See how it goes. You can always move them later if you want. Don't think you can like just cut down trees wherever you want. That's something that most of these types of games have, but doesn't seem like it's possible in this one. I actually like the fact that they've got trees at the back of their houses, and I think if we built on the expansion plots, then we'd see them get felled. We could always move the logging camp, or tell the logging camp to kind of cut down things internally. That would help. All right, so try building a hunting camp if you have wild animals in the region. Yeah, so with all these extra people, we're really low on food now. So we have the hunting camp. Let's start assigning. We've got 4 people unassigned, so let's get hunting. Let's tell the area to be just out there. We'll increase the size of it. And then we'll say, how many was there? There was 40 animals here. So hover over this. When population of a herd drops to this numbers, they'll stop hunting. So we'll try to half the herd. And when that happens, then stop doing that for a while. And maybe we'll go for other ones or just try to rely on farming or whatever. Loving the look of the place, by the way. It's starting to really come along nicely. Humble beginnings indeed, but looks good. Looking good. I'm really happy with the layout. The place I had before was a disaster. So this is nice. Okay, so let's just check over our jobs, right? If you press tab, you can actually see the names of buildings if you ever get confused with what they are. So our granary. We've got 1 person distributing things. We still have, I say person, it's family. We've got 1 on storehouse. So 1 on all of these things, right? So that's fine. What about the lumber hut? Yeah, let's get 1 person back on that. We still have 2 unassigned families. So that's plenty. That's great. And more houses are going up all the time. Looks great. So we can look at our... So what do we need to actually upgrade, right? That's our requirements here. Get to Burgage Plot 2, level 2. In order to do that, we need to fulfill everything that has a green dot here. And also the red one, I guess, as well. So we need 2 types of food. Not just 1 type of food, but 2 types of food, 2 types of clothing, entertainment, and faith. So a church, a tavern. Now, tavern needs ale. Ale, so there's the tavern. Give citizens of the region access to ale. It actually lowers public order doing that, because I guess people get rowdy. In order to do that, though, then you'd need the industry buildings for ale. Converts malt into ale, so then we need a malt house. Converts barley into malt, so that means we need a farm where we can grow wheat, flax, and barley. So there's a lot to do. That's why we need so many people before we can really even get near to any of this stuff. That's why we're given so much time, I think. So let's start plotting out where our farms are going to go. I guess we'll just keep it on 2 times 2 speed while they're building these different places up. We do have a okay amount of food, and we've got people now hunting. Let's get 2 people hunting just to speed that up a bit. Now, for the different types of clothes, you can get a tannery, so you get leather from the hides and stuff, but then also you can grow flax. So we'll have 3 different types of farms at the very least. So we'll start with a farm building, quite a big building, and then that kind of determines who works the various farms around its influence. So we'll just start it somewhere like here. Seems good on that kind of... yeah, actually, let's push it out. Why not? Just make it look kind of more interesting. Well, I suppose it would be against the road, wouldn't it? Okay. And then we'll put farms out around that. So, fields. So what do we have here? This is emmer fertility. Flax and barley. So we'll do emmer. Start off with that. Get some bread going, maybe. Don't know how big it really needs to be, but we'll just make it a pretty standard plot. Just like that. Flax, not looking too good down this way. Barley, a little bit better, but not great. And rye. Rye looking damn good. I'm not sure what you use rye for. Flour into bread. Grain to flour. Wool to sheep. For sheep? It'll tell me when we get it, though, I think. But we need barley to go into malt if we want to get that tavern up and running. So that's really one of the priorities. So let's have a look for barley again. Barley. So the best barley will be out here. I'm not going to do that, though. We don't have to be like 100% optimal. It would be nice, but like it's not optimal placing it so far away from everything. There is some over here, room for it over that way, so maybe over there. We're a bit close over there. Yeah, let's try that. Again, not really too sure with how big these things need to be, so let's just do a field. It's a lot of trees to get rid of, but I think they just get felled immediately, and then we've got... yeah, you know what? Forget it. I'll just do it over here. I just want to keep things together, so that's what I'm going to do. So that'll be our barley. We'll see how it grows. Maybe it'll be a catastrophic mistake. And then we need one kind of on the other side, right? Yeah, sometimes when this road turns quite a lot, it's really hard to get these fields to kind of work out properly. Alright, cool. 4 farms. Let's start with emmer, 75%, right? So grain. Wheat can be processed into grain, consumed as food. The next one we'll do the barley, 42%. What would be here? Flax, maybe? Flax. So I'm not seeing an option for... what was the other one? Rye. I'm sorry that I'm such an agricultural noob, but I thought that would be the same as this, like turning it into wheat, but I'm not really too sure. Alright, so we'll just leave it like that. So that's going to be flax, barley, and emmer. So workforce limit 6, 7, 5, and 7. So they're roughly the same size, these farms. That number is based on the size. So once this gets built, we can then distribute some of the unassigned families to these different farms. I like to think the new people moving in are going to be working there. And then maybe we could have a second granary or something that that they put their stuff in out this way. That would kind of make sense, right? So let's do that. 500 food helps supply the food stalls. Now, if you hover up here, it tells you that flour is actually a material, not necessarily a food stuff. So is malt. Okay. And then if we look at food, we've got vegetables, meat, berries, bread, and then different things that aren't named yet. And then crops. Can be processed into food. So does the farm, I wonder, store that? Doesn't seem like it. Storehouse to supply non-food related markets. Okay, yeah, sorry. I was just reading the bottom of the tooltip wrong. Generic goods and logs, and then this is for food. So it says crops is a different category than food. You would think, though, a granary is where you store things like grain. Excuse me. What else? I want to just look really quickly then at the farm itself. So, used to employ peasants on the fields. Farm workers plow the fields as soon as the winter passes, then sow them with the chosen crop, harvest them in September. Then the crops are transported to the farm, and wheat is threshed into grain. Okay, so it sounds like the farm holds crops, so it probably has a storage amount in it as well. They're building that now. What's our total population is 26. 9 of them are kids at the moment. Man, we got like big boulders here on the road. And some trees in the way. Alright, well, let's just speed time up even further. We're now in September. We're going to get close to winter. We don't have much food being stored, but we are gathering meat all the time. We've got as many people assigned to that as we can. Enable idle laborers. So how much food are we down to? 32. There was 40. Oh, by the way, I should really zoom in. It's awesome, the how the hunting works. So you actually see them going out with a bow and arrow. They hit the animal, and then they drag them back by the antlers like that. It's pretty gnarly. And then they skin them and start cutting away at them. You actually see like they kind of get like reduced up until there's barely anything left, and then they kind of just get like taken away. But it's just like a lot of detail. It looks really good. Just in terms of actually seeing them doing everything, you actually see the differences. Yeah, so the head kind of comes off, the legs and stuff, it kind of goes up and up, and then I guess you're just left with that. That gets dropped here to be collected by someone at the granary, like here. She'll carry that back then. I just think it's pretty cool detail. It's obviously not like super 100% realistic down to the thing, but in terms of these games, it's probably the most detail I've seen. So it's pretty cool. Especially love the way they go out and they go hunting and stuff. They go like hunting really slowly. They find their target, and then you just see them like pulling back a carcass. It's like, Jesus Christ. That's what's got to be done, man. Gotta feed the people. So yeah, 20 meat, 33 berries. Apparently only 1 month of food. Little alarming considering the berries are going to go away during the winter. But I think we'll be okay. Hopefully I haven't overbuilt more than we can sustain. Really want to get this farm done. Can we up the priority on this? We got 3 people here not doing anything. Do we have logs? Let's get more logs coming in. Let's assign 3 families to the logging. Let's move the logging a bit further out. Maybe down here now. Cool. There was messages that just flashed out. Oh, there we go. We can see it. Construction finished of the food stall, the firewood stall, and the burger spot. Oh, right. I totally forgot they were still doing that. Yeah, right. Nice. Cool. The stalls are done. So that's going to distribute food, but we need to assign people there. So let's put one on food.
Come on, people. Get to work.
And then they'll assign, people will come here, get their food, and distribute it. We still have another unassigned family. The firewood one would also reduce the amount of logistics that we've got going on. So hopefully these houses now will just start to kind of... Yeah, so what do we have? We've got we've got water, we've got fuel. They actually have 4 different types of food somehow. I don't know how they've done that. I guess because we started with some bread. Maybe they still have some of that. Then they have the berries, and they have meat. Can't really think for the life of me what the 4th type would be. Number of food types available at the market, it says. I don't think so. It's empty at the moment. What about the granary? Let's just check it really quickly. Yeah, just got berries and meat, and then there would have been bread. So I'm not too sure what the 4th one might be. Because we haven't started planting yet, by the way. So they have to go through the phases of plowing, sowing, crop growth, and harvest. But as we read before, like it's all done at different times of the year, so it's really not going to happen until springtime next year. You might see them kind of even a little bit earlier than that starting to plow the fields when they can. And hopefully this is why I wanted such a much more of a bigger populations, and so we could actually get lots of people out there planting as quickly as possible to give us some more sustainable food. Approval is almost back up to 50%. A little bit of homelessness apparently. Really? Maybe that'll go away soon. Alright, let's just speed time up. Don't have much more time left in this particular episode. This is why I need to record as many of these as I can today, because there's no saving in the game, so I just have to like mainline this and effectively blow my nose between each episode. Our influence is up to 200 though, so it seems like, yeah, with 1,000 it said we can expand to another region, so that'd be really fun if I could get to do that today. Alright, construction of the farm is now finished, so let's just wind time down back a little bit. Take another look at it. The farm is up and running, so, whoops, sorry, I clicked someone behind it. The threshing priority medium. It's connected to the road. I'll start assigning people here. So it's going to do this until it gets someone on it. Just assign 1 family right now. I guess it doesn't need anyone until next year, so we'll just leave it throughout the winter. Although, while it's not snowing, I think they will start plowing, so let's just see. If I could just reduce this back down a bit. Let's put people back over there, so this should be auto-assigned now. There we go.
Let's get to work.
So who's going to be doing it? Do we have the people tab? Vite. A farmer waiting. See, yeah, maybe he won't do anything because I don't think it's the time of year to be doing it. He's in his home. Can we see him? I want to get inside. Someone's after just going in that little doorway there. That's cute. You can actually pin this as well and just keep it up there and then have a look at the people when you're looking for different things. Quite a nice UI, I think. That might have to be it though. So we're basically in position now to get ready for winter. Try to speed it up as we come into winter. The farms will get going in the beginning of the next year. We're up to 50% approval. We've got a good amount of... Well, actually, our materials are getting kind of low. But we've got a decent amount of people on it. 2 people on it at the moment. Storage is a little bit alarming. I think we'll be okay, though. And I never actually built... Oh, crap. That's the real problem. Oh, no, I did. Yeah. I never assigned anyone to it. The Woodcutter Lodge. So, what can we reduce down? Once it gets to winter, you can kind of reduce down berries. We can take people off the logistics of storage. And just have them on wood cutting. Because we're going to need that firewood. We're just kind of run out. Now, there is 20 out in the world. You know, in people's homes. It's not the worst thing ever. But it says it's going to run out pretty soon. So, as we get into... We still have November to go. And then December is when winter properly starts. And the snow kind of arrives. And we'll have to see if we can survive. It'd be so terrible if it doesn't work out straight away. I would just have to do a different run, I guess. So I'll just speed time back up. We'll wait until we hit November, and then we'll call it for our beginning settlement. I'm loving the layout, though. I'm actually really happy with how the general layout's gone. Granted, the granary and some things are a little far on the far side, but at least they're between the buildings that get food. It's just a little far then to deliver stuff. So bringing a road straight out here at some point, or curving one up in a sort of a circle around this way probably makes sense. Maybe that'll be the last thing we do then. Let's connect this. So something like that, maybe just smoothing it out. There we go. Nice, right? So we have this nice, like, kind of oval shape to our settlement now. Bean shape. Winter is coming. Food's going up, though. It's getting better. Food and fuel. So I think we're on top of things. Shouldn't be too bad. And it's low again. All right, we'll leave it on that sort of cliffhanger, as it were. And we can just have a quick little look around at how the settlement's coming together. People's various homes. People are out and about. Weather's looking pretty good. Chilling morning, though. Hello, how do you do? Keep me busy. And then we have our farms. Looking forward to seeing our farms kick into gear next time. So up to 30 population in total. 10 kids, 20 adults. All to play for. That's going to be it for this episode. Remember, if you're a channel member, you should be able to have access to all of the episodes as quickly as I get them rendered and uploaded. I'll be putting them all up for channel members and then just releasing them hopefully on the daily for everyone else. So yep, that's going to be it. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.
Hey guys, thank you very much for watching, and remember, if you want to support the channel directly, you can click the join button to become a channel member. Doing so will get your name in the credits, as well as loyalty badges and emotes to use in the comments. You'll also get exclusive access to my Discord, where there's dedicated channels for each series I'm doing, and it's a great place just to meet others and make some friends.